Greetings, historians, and welcome back to House of Ideas Historian. It has been a crazy month so far. I mean, super busy in my household. And this is why. This right here is my newborn son, Dylan Draco Sheehy. We love little Draco to death. Now, let me tell you, having a newborn son, it's a time commitment. And last week, I just dropped the ball. I did not have time to be able to make a video. Sorry about that. But in the meantime, something really cool has happened. So this channel has always been about comic books and movies because I love all things Marvel. All things Marvel expanded a little bit more, as it always does, with the introduction of this freaking awesome game right here. This is Marvel's Avengers. You can get on PC, you can get on PlayStation or Xbox. Personally, I played it on the PS4, and let me tell you what, this game is amazing. So I really wanted to talk about it, talk about what I liked about it, what I maybe didn't like about it, things that I'm excited for the future, and things that I really liked about it so far. I will let you know that one of these sections is going to be a little spoilery. I'll leave that at the end. So if you don't want spoilers, I'll tell you when to just jump ship and, thanks for watching. But getting into it, I'm going to talk about character playability. Who are the characters? What did I like about them? What did I not like about them? As always, I love to tie things back into the comics, so I want to show you some little comic booky things that I found in the game that were super, super cool, and some things that maybe I think could have done better or hope to see from the future, because this game is massive, and it's just going to keep growing with plenty of DLCs already announced. I am stoked. And then another section, we're going to talk about some of the glitches I ran into. How did the game run? What were some issues I found at the first week of playing that may be adjusted, maybe, we'll see. Those are another section I'm going to talk about. And finally, what I felt I liked about the story. That is where we're going to run to some spoilers, so if you don't want to hear about some of the specifics of the game, go ahead and cut right there. Thanks for watching, but let's dig on in. So the first section we're going to talk about is character and character playability. Let's go over the list of who we have in the game right now. So I just finished the Reassemble campaign, the main campaign that they have in the game as of today. And through that campaign, you're able to unlock Captain America, Black Widow, Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, and the absolute standout of the game, Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. I'm going to go into all those characters in a little bit of detail, but this is the lineup that you can play as, and you get the option to grow as in the game. So starting at the top, we'll go with Captain America. This dude is awesome. Obviously, he's Captain freaking America, so he was going to be great, but this was an absolute phenomenal way of playing as Cap. So every single character in this game is so unique. I've played many games, not just Marvel games, but many games in general, where you were playing as one character or the other, but it really just felt like you're playing the same character over and over again. They have the same, moves, the same whatever, just kind of reskinned. Not in this game. Every single character plays differently with a different skill set. So Captain America is a brawler, and he's right up in your face. He's throwing his shield, and it does some good damage, but you really want to be right up in there punching away. It is amazing to see the kind of things that he can do. Every single character has 3 special power-ups, and they are amazing, but very specific to the character themselves. I really like playing as Captain America, but he's not my favorite. Mainly because you get him a little late in the game. I didn't get a chance to really play as him as much as I want. But the game is huge and is still growing, so I'll get plenty of time. Moving on to the God of Thunder, Thor. This guy is awesome. Freaking Thor. So I'm a little biased. I've always loved Thor. And just the chance of being able to sling some hammers, throw some lightning, super cool. But with the Bifrost ability that you see right here, and some of the other things you've got with the game, Thor is just a awesome character to play as. He can be right up in your face, but he also is good at being at the back, throwing his hammer. It is a little weird that you have to call the hammer back, but it's kind of fun that you can go in, throw your hammer, and then call it back to hit on the way back. It's just a way of being able to learn how to play the character. Again, he is different. He is not Captain America because he's freaking Thor. Every character plays differently. Moving on from two of the big brawlers in the game, we're going to go to this dude right here, Tony Stark. Again, every character plays differently, and Tony has so much variation. So, obviously, because the game is different, every character is different, he is going to be more of your backline shooting. He's not going to be up in your face. He does have some melee options. Every character has melee options. His light attacks are all melee based. But where he really shines and what I use him best for is standing in the back and taking off pop shots, maybe from the other flyers around, or some of the people that are a little far away to see. What's really cool about Tony is he's got his repulsors, but you can, as you progress your characters and build them up even more, he also has access to rockets and lasers. And each iteration of the repulsor, rocket, laser just gives you more to your arsenal, but a lot of different playability, because your laser isn't going to be as effective in some situations as your rocket will. I found, knowing me and knowing how I like Iron Man, I've always been more of a fan of repulsors, because the repulsor text is so cool and is so iconic to Tony. I've always liked my Iron Man to use repulsors. But in this game, I found myself using the rockets way more, because the area effect, you could hit more people than just one, or you didn't have to be right on your money because the explosion still knocked a couple people out. So overall, he was a lot of fun just because of the playability that you have with him and the differences. Moving right along, you've got your in-the-face, massive brawler, freaking Hulk. Hulk is so much fun, and honestly, he was one of my favorite characters to play as, because it was so refreshing to find a game that you really felt like you're playing Hulk. I mean, it's been forever that I've played a game where you have Hulk and it actually feels like Hulk. And then you've got some really cool stuff. Every character has an ultimate ability, but Hulk's ultimate ability is the Thunder Clap. Freaking amazing, because you don't even see the thunderclap very often. In fact, the only time you've ever seen the thunderclap in the MCU is in the Incredible Hulk movie, right down towards the end. We haven't seen any interaction of Mark Ruffalo's Hulk use the thunderclap, but it's such a cool comic booky move that I love to see it in this game. Next, we have Black Widow. She is fun, but so different than the others. She is a brawler right up in your face, but she can't take a lot of hits. So the God of Thunder is a little bit mightier being. He can take a couple hits. Captain America has his shield, so obviously he's able to block. Black Widow, if you get hit, it's going to hurt. But she excels at dodging. Every character has dodge and dodge abilities, but Black Widow is so fast and so quick with her dodges, you can get her in and out of situations so much faster. What I really like about her is the mobility that you have with her. Now, she is very different than other characters because she has so much mobility. You think maybe if you just stay back and take people off with your ranged shots. It's not so great with her because her little pistols, they don't do a whole lot. They're going to take 3, 4, 5 shots that one repulsor ray would do for Iron Man. So she's not as effective shooting in the back. She really needs to be up front. You just really have to make sure you've got that dodge down packed. That's her bread and butter. So another really cool thing about her is her ultimate. Actually, it's not even on her ultimate. It's one of her power-ups. Veil of Shadows. This stealths not just her, but anyone that's near her, and just makes that whole dodgy aspect so much better. It's not a stealth to kind of sneak away from an enemy and get through this, platforming section, but just a stealth to confuse your enemies in the midst of battle. Super cool. And of course, like I said, the last but absolutely certainly not least character of the entire game, Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. She is the standout character. Now, when you think Avengers, especially since the MCU, you're going to be thinking of Iron Man. You're going to be thinking of Captain America, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye. That's who you think. So the introduction of Kamala Khan to kind of the greater audience, especially people who have not picked up a comic book recently or have not picked up a comic book, this character is so new to them. But let me tell you, this game nailed it. She is amazing. So she's really cool. She's got her stretchy arms and embiggen. That's all really cool. And gameplay for fighting style, she's really cool. She's a support character. She's able to heal up her allies. But where she actually absolutely stands out in this game is the main protagonist of the entire thing. We'll go into that a little bit in the end. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a broad section of the characters. I think I'm probably going to talk about this a couple more times, maybe rank characters and playability versus difficulty or whatnot. But as of right now, that's what I've got. And the one thing I just want to say again about the characters is every single one of these characters plays so differently than the other that you've got a different play style for everyone. And it is so cool because every single character in the comics fights differently. Every single character in the movie fights differently. So it wouldn't make sense that every single character in the game would play the same. So I think that they did a phenomenal job with taking these differences of every single character and showing it on screen and in the controls. I love it. Alright, so the next section is a really cool section. I'm going to call it comic books within the game. So this game is super comic booky. Even if it doesn't exactly follow a comic book story, I'll kind of talk about that more a little bit later. There are a lot of really cool comic booky things about this. So obviously every character plays differently and acts differently based on who they are in the comics. But every single character has different collectibles that they can find throughout the game. And each one of those collectibles are comic books. I mean, if you take a look at this right here, these are the different comic books that I have found in the game for this character. And they're real life comics, that have actually come out. So it's really cool that I can, pull up and see, hey, look, this comic is important to this character. In the game, finding a comic book like this, like finding the Secret Avengers or Avengers #1 in the very early phases of the game, actually count as stat boosts for the characters in game. So the more comics you find, the more collections you find, the better your character is. So that's just awesome as is. Villains in the game, as of right now, are a little lacking. The game is still growing, so there's a lot of characters that will be added. As of right now, I fought Abomination, Taskmaster, and MODOK. I'm expected to see more, but, I guess we'll see. Seeing all these comic books in game is super cool because I am such a big comic book nerd that playing an Avengers game is not enough. Seeing that it actually ties to a comic, even in a small way, like a little image of the comic book in the game, means the world to me. Kamala Khan was an amazing character and done so well because you really got to feel for her geekiness, whether it's her 9-year-old self at Avengers Day or it's seeing her bedroom as a 13-year-old with Captain Marvel posters and I'm Iron Man posters and all that. And everything in Avengers Day and on her wall is real life memorabilia that they just coded into the game. So I think it did a wonderful job. Next section I'm going to say is how the game ran. So again, I played this on the PS4, so your experience might be different whether you play it on PC or Xbox. But for me, I think it did a pretty good job. First off, the graphics are phenomenal. Absolutely amazing. They do a great job of showing these characters. It is especially really cool for me to see Kamala Khan in a non-comic book format because we haven't seen that before. So wonderful job there. I really like the way everything looks. I know the game got a lot of flack when it first was revealed because some of the characters didn't look like, let's say, their MCU counterparts, or didn't look the way you see them in the comics. Let's talk especially Hockey Pad's Captain America. So I know that there's a little bit of flack there, but what's really cool about this game, and take it or leave it, you've got skins. So if you don't like Hockey Pad's Captain America, you do not have to use Hockey Pad's Captain America. You've got options that you can run through so you can try different looks and whatever you like, because this game is awesome and you have options. So don't let Hockey Pads or Big Nose Natasha kind of hurt your opinion of the game because you're not a fan of the way the characters are designed. Personally, I love that this game is nothing to do with the MCU. I love the MCU. I want more of the MCU in every way, but this game being separate from the MCU is pretty good for me. The story, again, as we'll talk about in a little bit, is completely original, and I'm very happy for that. So I think graphic-wise, the game is great. I've already talked about character playability. The combat system of the game is amazing. Absolutely amazing. It reminds me of games like Return of the King back in the day, or the Arkham games. I love the combats with just multiple people coming, and you're dodging, you're fighting, you're parrying, you're shooting off, you're upgrading your stuff. It's awesome. So this game, when it comes to combat, perfect A+ for me. I absolutely love it. There were some issues though. Again, situations, this may vary based on your experience, but for me with the PS4, these are two major things I ran into. The first came on relatively early. Very small spoiler, but as the game progresses, you reach a point where you have to select the mission that you go on. There's the main mission, but there's also plenty of side missions, and that is selected via the war table. When I got to the point of the war table for the very first time, there was no missions selected, and you couldn't back out. So you couldn't leave the war table and come back. There's just no war table shot at all. You just go through the entire map and you couldn't find anything. That was frustrating. By the grace of Google, we found out what to do, which was restart your PS4 and then pull it back up. Yeah. But the game has autosave. It autosaves everywhere you're at, so it wasn't really that big of a deal. I restarted the PS4, pulled it back up, and lo and behold, my mission was there. I was able to continue the game. Yay! The last one was a lot more frustrating, and it was way later on in the game. So the last one happens in the final fight. There's a section while you're playing as Incredible Hulk. In the very last fight of the game, very last fight of the Reassemble campaign, that is, where everything went super slow motion, and the 10-minute fight turned into a 40-minute fight. So yeah, this was super frustrating. I was really hoping to be done with that last fight by that point, and then everything went slow motion. I had to put the game down and come back way later in the day because I didn't have time to finish it, where I might have if the fight actually ran the way it was supposed to. So that was frustrating. The solution, again, turn off your PS4 and turn it back on again. But what's cool, again, the game autosaves, so when I pulled it right back up, I was right there in that last bit of that last fight, no problem at all. So, there's that. That's cool. When it comes to glitches, those are the only two things that I really noticed. The game runs pretty smoothly, but again, it's a brand new game, and they're constantly updating things, so those things might not even be a glitch for very much longer. The game just came out, so, we might be seeing some improvements there, and we also might be seeing some glitches. Again, I've only really played the Reassemble campaign. I haven't played any of the Avengers Initiative, which is the multiplayer online platform, so I don't know any of the glitches that are there. So keep an eye out. I'll give updates once I've kind of included that more. Alright, so here is the point where if you don't want any spoilers for the game, you don't want to hear about how the story progresses, this is where you're going to want to cut and, peace out. Because we're going to see some spoilers. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all that. Alright. Everyone's gone? We're here for the story. This was an amazing story. So, as you should know by now, this is not the MCU. This is not the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So the story that is here is 100% original. When it comes to comic book and comic book stories, this is not pulled from any comic book. I have a lot of comic books. So this story has not to do with any of the comic books. It's its own original story. And it was a really good one. Here's just a quick gist of the story. The Avengers have a contest for fan fiction. The finalists are pulled into this really cool festival on the unveiling of a brand new helicarrier, the Chimera. Kamala Khan is the protagonist of the entire game. She, as a 9-year-old girl, won the honor of coming to this big Avengers Day and showing off her comic book to the Avengers. In the first opening shots of the game is super fun because Kamala Khan interacts with each of the Avengers in a different way, and they kind of give her advice. They say they read her comic book, they really liked it. It was super cool. But what was really cool was seeing Kamala Khan as a 9-year-old girl absolutely geek out at everything Avengers. It was amazing. And so, like I mentioned earlier, what was really cool about this was seeing all the different comic books that they were kind of collecting in this first shot. The comic books were awesome because they were, images that are real life comic books like Avengers 1 and Avengers 4 and Secret Avengers. Some really cool stuff. So seeing actual comic books in the game kind of made me geek out. So it's a good game. That's kind of where things started going wrong though. Someone attacks the Golden Gate Bridge, so the Avengers rush off to protect it. There, we fight Taskmaster. I like Taskmaster, so yay on that. But there's more going on than just that. The helicarrier itself was actually rigged. There was a new power source, Terrigen, that was supposed to power the helicarrier, but something went wrong and it exploded, and a Terrigen mist fell across San Francisco and the rest of the world, creating Inhumans. If you know anything about Kamala Khan, that's how she became an Inhuman in this universe, in this game universe. So, the Avengers are disbanded because they were not able to protect everyone because the helicarrier was theirs, XYZ. The Avengers disbanded. Fast forward 5 years. In the past 5 years, AIM takes power of world policing. Shield's in shambles, and AIM steps up. The Advanced Idea Mechanics. And this is where I started geeking out. Now, I did zero, and I mean zero, research into this game, so I did not know that AIM was even in this game. So I was super excited to see AIM. I was a little sad because we didn't see the Bumblebee outfits that we know and love for AIM, but we still really got a good feel for who the Advanced Idea Mechanics are. I also realized that they were showing us a origin, not the origin, because obviously this is a different universe, but a origin of MODOK. And wow, what a really cool story that was. Early on, we got a shot of this MODOK character, and I honestly thought it was supposed to be the leader. Because, the big head, I thought we were seeing the leader, which was going to, again, be really cool. But then I realized later on I was actually mistaken. they're showing the transformation of this one character into that of MODOK. MODOK is the final fight in the entire game, and it is so much fun. So, the Avengers disband over 5 years. Kamala Khan, as at this point, 13-year-old girl, hacks into AIM, finds a file, and thinks she has a clue to what happened on what they call A-Day. She follows the breadcrumbs and ends up finding the Incredible Hulk, and from the Incredible Hulk, they kind of reassemble the entire crew of the Avengers, going through various missions here and there to finally confront AIM. It was a great story. I absolutely loved that it was an original story to this, because I'm not done with the MCU. I still love the MCU, and obviously I love comic books. But if it was a story I already know, if I know where things are going or where things came from, sometimes it gets a little dull. This kept me completely enthralled the entire time because I didn't know what was going on. These characters were familiar to me because they played and acted like the characters in the comics, but they were different to me because they weren't exactly the same. I mean, spoiler alert, but Captain America actually curses in this game. Right? So, the story in the game was phenomenal. There's a lot more about this game. We could talk on and on and on. I'm not exactly a gaming channel, but I know I'm going to be coming back to this game a couple more times on my channel just because it's really prevalent for me right now. It's what I'm doing when it comes to comic books. It's what I'm doing in my free time. So I'm probably going to be talking about it to you in future videos. For now, if you ever have any questions, whether about this game or other comic books, you know where to hit me up. I've got my socials, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. If you play this game and want to hook up with me and we can do some missions, hit me up. Let me know what your friend code is, and we'll get this game on, because this game is so much fun and it's going to be even better with friends, as all things are, right guys? So for now, thanks for watching. Like the video, share with your friends, and if you have not already, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps with the algorithm. Thank you for watching. Excelsior, true believers. Till next time.